Welcome back. It would appear the American media is now trying to censor itself. Liberal outlets want to see conservative outlets dismantled. We've been talking about this in a Newsweek op-ed from Jon Schweppe, Director of Policy and Government Affairs at the American Principles Project. This quote, "Deplatforming the news would set America on a dangerous course." Of course it would. Jon Schweppe joins us now, along with our friend Jason Nichols, senior lecturer at the University of Maryland and a Democratic strategist. Gentlemen, thanks so much for coming on. Cancel culture in the media, of course, is the topic tonight. Jon, we're going to start with you. You're citing various liberal news outlets from CNN to MSNBC trying to use the Capitol riot to cancel conservative media. This here from Max Boot from the Washington Post talking about President Trump. But what about his collaborators? Fox News, Newsmax, One America, other right-wing outlets relentlessly push the big lie that led to this attack. What do you make of this push that's actually coming from left-wing media?
Well, we're seeing quite an epidemic here. It kind of started with big tech censorship before the election, and now it's really kind of become more pervasive. But we're seeing an effort here to really silence dissent. That's what this is ultimately going to be about. They see outlets like Newsmax, Fox News, et cetera, as a threat to their institutional power. And so you're seeing, it's not just Max Boot, although, he's usually good for a column or two like this. But we're seeing it from the New York Times. We're seeing it now from MSNBC. We're seeing it from CNN seemingly every Sunday. Brian Stelter likes to talk about this stuff. And, they want to use their institutional power, corporate power to silence you guys. And it's really a threat to democracy.
Jason, what are your thoughts on this? And a reminder that if they cancel Newsmax, I'm going to come sleep on your couch. What do you think about all this?
Well, you're welcome. Just wear your mask. But I'll tell you this. I definitely think that this is kind of a dangerous precedent. I don't think that we should necessarily be canceling certain outlets that we disagree with, or even outlets that have pushed a dangerous lie, like the big lie. It was a dangerous lie. It ended up being deadly in the end. But at the core, I think we have to challenge what it is that people say that's dangerous, not try to deplatform them, not try to shut them down and keep them from having an opportunity to speak. We have to challenge them and try to challenge lies with truth. That's the best way to go about this, not necessarily trying to banish them or keep them from speaking, because that goes against people's First Amendment rights.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Jon, I want to ask you this. For 4 years, we were told that Donald Trump was going after the free press in this country. The great irony was he ended up being maybe one of the most transparent presidents ever, and he made the media companies, the mainstream media, more money than they've ever made ever with the ratings. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, look, I think that's a very good point. You're talking about, we've been told for years now that the right was the threat to free speech and free expression. And I'm really, happy to hear from Jason that he's still a liberal and not one of these authoritarian progressives who still believe in, free speech. But yeah, that's what we're up against here. And I think both sides really need to condemn it, because look, like Jason said, if you're going to have if you're going to say dumb things that can be rebutted, things that are false or what have you, we need to rebut that in the free marketplace of ideas. Because if you don't, what ends up happening is that those ideas, those conspiracy theories, actually tend to take hold and become more powerful and more influential. So I think this desire to remove right-wing news or to kind of censor people, it's really mistaken, and it's going to create a lot of problems in this country.
It's really scary is what it is, especially when it comes from places of power. It's really scary. Jason, the left complains about conservative misinformation like you just did, but for years we saw the same from the left. Here's Joy Reid talking about Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump.
Are you concerned about Donald Trump's loyalties to the U.S. versus whatever strange loyalty he seems to have to Mr. Putin?
Jason, that is a dangerous big lie. It is. When you start telling people that the president has loyalties to Russia and it's not true, it's a big lie and it's dangerous. How do you square that?
Well, again, I don't want to go through everything that probably led to that question. And it sounded like it was a question rather than a statement. I do agree that, with my counterpart here, that it is true that Donald Trump made the media a whole lot of money, dominated the airwaves for a long time. I think that misinformation or things that are wrong need to be challenged and need to be corrected. We saw Newsmax do that with what was going on in terms of the election. They actually manned up and actually said that they were wrong about it, which I think was a good thing for the organization and a good thing for news. And I think that all of these organizations should do that when they push something that's not true.
Well, and to be fair, you just said that Joy Reid made a question about Donald Trump's loyalties to Russia, and that's exactly what we did. We provided a venue, a forum for people to question what happened in the election. We never made a statement that said any of these things. So, I think that it's very similar in scale, what happened there and what happened with Russia was 2 years, 3 years we had to listen to this. It all ended up being not true, and now these same organizations are saying that conservative media needs to be canceled. I think it's laughable. John, I want one last question with you. Rush Limbaugh. We've been talking about him tonight. Died today, a sad story. One of the biggest, though, opponents of cancel culture. We lost a major fighter for the cause today. Talk about Rush.
Well, I'm a Rush baby. I mean, I'm 33 years old. I grew up with him. My parents, always had that AM radio playing. And I think it's emotional for a lot of us. I mean, he's someone who really brought a lot of us formatively into conservatism. The first political book I ever read was The Way Things Ought to Be. Rush Limbaugh was the first person who really made arguments on the life issue that made sense, that really kind of got me passionate about it. So I think he's had a tremendous impact on this country. He gets hit a lot by the left, and I think it's because he was so successful. And he's going to be missed. I mean, it's hard not to tear up. And we saw when the president got him, the medal and at that speech, it was just incredible. And we're going to miss him.
It was definitely a big moment. Jon Schweppe, Jason Nichols, guys, thanks so much for joining me tonight. Good to talk to both of you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Rob.
All right, take care. All right, the left now blaming Republicans, saying that they are the reason schools are still closed. It's kind